It is me, Anwar, your host. If this is your first time here, if I'm all on one hand is a nod to the James Baldwin quote you saw on the intro. On the other hand, it is my pleasure to keep you no longer than 15 minutes. We'll talk about some stuff happening in the world, happening in DC, happening here in Nevada where I live. Hopefully, I can make you a little smarter in less than 15 minutes. So, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get to it, shall we? NFL season. I'm gonna be all the way real with y'all. I don't watch the NFL a whole lot. I am a Cleveland Browns fan. Life is hard. Life is very hard. I will say I do not like what they have done with Shedeur Sanders. I don't like what the NFL as a whole has done. His mistreatment has been a message, not to him, but to Deion Sanders. And the message is that Deion Sanders is not Archie Manning. That's a fucked up message if we're being real. But that's ultimately the message. The reason I say that is because if you remember, when Eli Manning was getting drafted, Eli Manning said that he did not want to play for, I believe it was the San Diego Chargers. Said he was not willing to go to San Diego, and some stuff got moved around and he wound up in New York. Take nothing away from Eli Manning. He won 2 Super Bowls. He is the only quarterback to beat Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowl. But the point is, when Shedeur Sanders was getting ready to come out of Colorado, and Deion Sanders was talking real loud and tough about the teams he wanted Shedeur to go to and teams he didn't. And the NFL decided that they wanted to teach Deion a lesson. And since then, Shedeur Sanders has been treated horribly. He really has. I followed the Browns very loosely because, as a Browns fan, like I said earlier, life gets hard. But it's not like they're having a lights out season or anything like that. And they still refuse to start Sanders. They still refuse to give him much playing time. And the truth is, if he weren't the son of Deion Sanders, most of us really. And this is why anytime they put a camera in front of him or they put a microphone in his face and he kind of trolls them, everyone says, oh, he shouldn't be acting like that. The truth is, nobody should be interviewing him. He's QB fucking 3. Well, QB 2 now because Flacco's gone. But still, come on now. What do you expect out of the guy? Until you actually play him, you shouldn't expect a fucking thing out of him. That's just the reality. And so, again, I think that is a message that the NFL as a whole wanted to send Deion Sanders, but I don't like how my Browns. Not much else for me to say about the Browns. They are 2-7. So, I mean, it is what it is. You ask me how I feel about the Browns, I say, is it WNBA season again? Yeah, that's about the size of it. That stated, let's talk about some semi-serious stuff now. In DC, the federal shutdown has come to an end. There are a lot of Democrats who are not happy about it because Democratic senators, a few of them broke with the party in order to vote with Republicans to open the government. 2 of those senators were the senators from Nevada, Jackie Rosen and Catherine. And I will say that the Democratic delegation in the House, so that is Dina Titus, Susie Lee, and Stephen Horsford, the 3 Congress members in the House, they still voted no. They did not vote with Republicans. So they still held the line. What I will say is this. I understand people being upset with Rosen. I understand people being upset with Cortez Masto. I get it. I really do. Because, yes, I wanted better concessions in regard to the ACA and in regard to a lot of things. I wanted better concessions than what actually passed. So, don't get it twisted. I understand that. But let's think about this. At the beginning of the month, and if you've watched this show, you've seen me talk about it. People were not receiving food benefits. SNAP recipients, people who rely on that stuff to survive, to feed their families, were not receiving these benefits. This is the first government shutdown in history where SNAP has not still been paid. There is a fund in place to pay SNAP benefits in the event of a government shutdown. But this time around, Donald Trump decided to hold those benefits hostage. Two different courts, two different judges ordered the Trump administration to release the funds and pay SNAP benefits so that people could feed their families. Donald Trump, the President of the United States, I hate that whole fucking sentence, but the President of the United States then went to the Supreme Court of the United States and petitioned them to block the order to feed families. Knowing that, while I am not happy about anyone caving, I understand. Because at some point, you realize it's easy for me to yell, hold the line. You know why? I know where my next meal is coming. It's easy for us to scream that. And yes, you are justified in being pissed off at the fact that this happened in the first place because Donald Trump and Republicans in Congress want to take health care away from more Americans in order to give more money to billionaires. Yes, you are justified in being pissed off about all of that. But the reality is, playing fair, playing by the rules, only works when the other side does the same thing. Appealing to reason only works when the people you're talking to have a conscience. And the reality is, on the other side, the cruelty is the recipe. The cruelty is the secret. The cruelty is the goal. It's the plan. That's it. The President of the United States said, if I can't take your health care away, then I will let a large number of you starve instead. The reality is, the Democrats, again, this was a Republican shutdown. Democrats didn't hold any real power. Continuing to hold the line while giving us plenty to tie to Trump and Republicans in Congress ultimately meant more people going and continuing to go. I'm not happy about it at all. I understand. Meanwhile, here in Nevada, our governor has called the legislature back to Carson City for a special session. It's expected to run through this weekend. Now, special session is something that's called in time of emergency. We have a housing emergency. We have a food insecurity emergency. We have a healthcare emergency. We have an education emergency. But guess what? None of those were the reason that the legislature got called back to Carson City. They got called back for Lombardo's crime bill because I guess they don't have enough people to lock up, so they want to throw more people in jail because crime has actually come down. So why the fuck is a crime bill an emergency? Unless you need more people to lock up. And the other reason, the film tax credit bill. That shitty bill that gives tons of taxpayer money to Hollywood studios while at the same time saying that we don't have money to address the housing crisis. And we don't have money to address education. And we don't have money to address food insecurity. But we have money to give away to studios. The problem with that bill is the film tax credit idea has failed in every other state. Why we would imagine that this is the place it's going to work? Look, a lot of people come to Nevada to get lucky, and a lot of them go home broke. In this case, those folks will come to Nevada, they'll get lucky and leave us broke. Fuck that. And for the people who will say, well, the package for Nevada it's a better deal than in the other states. A bowl of shit with sprinkles is still a bowl of shit. Try that with somebody else. It's a shitty bill. That's the reality. The crime bill is a shitty bill. All it does is throw more people in jail. More poor people in jail. More marginalized people, or more people from marginalized communities, however you want to say it, because I know somebody's going to try and argue semantics here. But that's what it is. The rich kids who get caught shoplifting will still get off because they're just kids. It's a terrible idea. And I actually had the opportunity to speak to the assembly about why I felt that way. But the truth is, it's a terrible idea. Crime bill is a bad idea. The film tax credit is a terrible idea. People are starving and we're trying to give money away. That's nuts. I wish I had some fun stuff to talk about aside from my Browns being fucking awful. But this week I really don't. But I do encourage you, especially if you are in Nevada, hop on YouTube, type in NVLEG, and the YouTube channel will come up for the Nevada State Legislature. Watch these hearings. See what's going on. At the same time, I'm going to encourage you, or remind you, should I say, to follow the people at Nevada Megaphone. Stay plugged in, stay informed. Not only through the special session through this weekend, but as we get closer to 2026. I also want you to remember to check out whereislombardo.com. Because he's in the state for special session, but as soon as session ends, who knows where the hell he'll be. Last week he was in DC for a fundraiser, while people were starving in his state. What fucking sense does that make, right?
What kind of shit is that?
But before I get too much more worked up, I'm almost at time. I promised I wouldn't keep y'all past 15 minutes, so it's about time for me to get out of here. Till next week, I want to remind you, as always, drink your water, brush your tongue, watch your goddamn mouth. I'm Anwar. I'll see you next week.